Hello and welcome to today's episode of Two Pigs in a Pod, a podcast for the people of Glazing by the people of Glazing. I'm your host, George, and we may have to make a change to the name of the podcast to Three Pigs in a Pod for today's episode, as today we have two guests. It's Clair Melville-Brown and Steve Langton of MACO UK. Welcome to Two Pigs in a Pod, both. How are we?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for having us on. A little bit nervous, but we'll see how it goes.
You'll smash it. You'll smash it. So, without further ado, as we always do with our podcast, is for guests to introduce themselves and a bit about themselves and what they do. So, yeah, who are you? What do you do? And how long have you been in the industry?
Go on, Steve. I'll let you go first.
Thank you very much. I'm Steve Langton. I've been part of the window and door industry now for 25 years. With the last 15 years been spent at MACO UK. Nice. For those last 8 years, I've had the privilege of being head of sales and leading the sales team across.
Nice. And Claire?
And I'm Claire, and I'm the marketing manager at MACO UK, and I look after the UK and North America marketing. And I've been at MACO nearly 2 years.
Nice. Well, let's take it back to the beginning, and obviously, Steve, with the more experience, I guess it'll be time for you to go first. How did you get into our sector? What was your sort of route into our wonderful world of glazing?
Well, my dad was in the window industry.
Okay.
Obviously, before I did, he came into the industry around about beginning of the 90s, beginning and middle of the 90s. So it was always something I was kind of familiar with. It was always something I'd always been around. Went to university, finished university, and got into selling designer clothes.
Okay.
And it wasn't really, the career I wanted or paying the bills that I wanted. So I sent my CV out to a number of companies, and fortunately for me, a lovely gentleman by the name of Roger Raywood gave me an opportunity at a hardware distributor called Unitech in Milton Keynes.
Okay.
And I've been in the industry ever since.
Nice. And Claire, obviously you've only been in MACO a couple of years, but what was your sort of journey into us?
Well, I joined the industry when I joined MACO. So previous to working here, my knowledge of the fenestration industry went as far as my local window installers. And the word fenestration, I don't think was even in my vocabulary. So no. Complete polar opposite to Steve.
Nice. And obviously, different starts into the sector, but what were your first impressions of it? Was you obviously didn't, with Steve, you knew a bit about the sector, but Claire didn't know about it. So what was the first impressions of it once you're on the inside?
Well, my first impression of the industry was really when I went to the Glazing Summit about 6 weeks into my role, and really instantly embraced by the people in the room that day. And it was pretty clear from the beginning that this is an industry built on relationships.
Absolutely.
And that's not something that you see every day. Most industries that I've been in have been very competitive, closed off from each other, but here you can really see people coming together for the sole purpose of ensuring that the industry and not just their business is heading in the right direction. So that was really nice. It was a good introduction into the industry. Go into that almost immediately, really.
Definitely. And Steve, what was your first impressions? Obviously, I'm guessing you've been a part of conversations with your dad, but what was it like once you got in?
I'd been around some of the larger fabricators up north as well with my dad, because he worked for a couple of the larger guys up there. And my first impression was it was fast paced, it was crazy, it was chaotic. There were some larger than life characters in there at the time. There still is, but a little bit like what Claire said. Then mainly the people stand out, and it's one of the things which it kind of runs with me is I think this industry is built on relationships and it's built on people. And my first impressions of the sector was very that, but it was chaotic. It was crazy. It was,
Nice. And what would you say some of the biggest milestones in your career? Obviously, a lot's happening at MACO, obviously, that we'll move on to about the 40th anniversary and stuff. But what would you say are some of the big milestones, not necessarily in terms of monetary value or things like that, but just things that you remember day to day, or you or on a podcast can bring up as sort of memories?
For me, I don't know. I'm one of them. I don't really tick off personal milestones. I try not to get too high or too low. But for me, obviously being at MACO 15 years this year is a milestone. I'm still a baby compared to some people here in the UK. You know, Craig, Kevin, Trevor, you know, Steve Anderson, people like that. But also at Group. I mean, Group's got some. I mean, Mr. Mayer's still there as well. I mean, he's in his 80s. But yeah, there's people at Group who's been at MACO 40 plus years. So I'm just proud to be part of the family. I mean, having been across to Austria quite a bit and spent time with other colleagues from different countries as well, I'm just proud to be part of such a small cog in a big machine. And you know, I've got some fantastic relationships with colleagues, you know, past and present in the UK, but also abroad as well. And they're kind of the things I'm proud of, I think, and quite pleased with myself to have built them.
Nice. And Claire, you know, it's been a pretty whirlwind two years with MACO. Obviously, we're celebrating the 40th this year, but yeah, has there been any sort of big moments or milestones in that short space of time?
I'd say at MACO, that's probably the biggest milestone so far. To really have the opportunity to orchestrate celebrating the 40th anniversary was a big milestone for me. Not just professionally, but just like to witness it for the business as well. So it was a really good one.
Nice. And has there been any sort of, you know, Steve, you mentioned a few names there, people that have been at MACO for a long time, but has there been any sort of people that have been influential in your careers? It doesn't necessarily have to be at MACO or you know, before, but has there been any sort of people that have really helped you get where you are? You know, it's not easy to reach 20 plus years in the industry and obviously 15 years at MACO, but is there anyone that's really stood out that's helped you along the way?
I think there's far too many probably to roll off. You know, it'd probably be like an Oscar speech if I went through them all. Everybody who's had who's you know, touched my career for good or bad, you know, throughout them 25 years. But certainly, you know, I know if she listens to this podcast, she'll kill me. But certainly, my wife and the family has been a massive influence for me. I spend a lot of time traveling, so I have quite an understanding wife. You know, not only in the UK but abroad. But also, I've been quite fortunate to work with some really incredible people. You know, early in my career, the likes of and all these have passed away now. But I think it's when they pass away you kind of appreciate what they did to you. But people like Andrew Omond, who employed me pretty much at MACO, Ronnie Rossell, who people in the industry will be aware of, Brian Webb, you know, from Epwin. Those people have all, you know, throughout different times of my career have really helped me. But probably more recently is Kev. You know, I've been really lucky to work quite closely with Kevin. He's our MD for those who don't know, and sits, you know, on the management group on the board as well. And he's just been brilliant with me. You know, he's helped me in development. He's challenged me in certain areas. Just really, just can't thank those people enough. And the other one is obviously I've got some really good customers, and I've dealt with some really good customers over the years. You know, pre-MACO, even now. You know, some of them came down on the 40th. People who don't normally come out, and they came to spend time with us. And they're good because they push you and they challenge you to be better, because it's easy to coast, and they won't allow it either. So just too many people. I've probably gone too much there myself as well, but there's too many people, I think, to thank.
Nice. And Claire, obviously, I'm sure you can echo some of those from within MACO and customer wise, but is there anyone else from before, you know, maybe pre-MACO that influenced your career?
I've been really fortunate throughout my career to have had some fantastic role models. Nice. Not just in employment, outside that too, like Steve says, to have family that support you and push you to be better, to challenge yourself, to go for things even if you don't think that you can do it, they're still sitting in the corner cheering you on. So yeah, I think I've been really fortunate in that respect, and I've been exposed to some really great and strong and empathetic leaders who have
Nice.
really demonstrated to me that it is possible to be a successful leader and still be human.
Yeah.
Particularly, I'd say some of the females that I've had the pleasure of working with and
Yeah.
for. And they've showed me that it's possible to be present as a wife and a mother and have a career. And that's something that I will always aspire to achieve, because that work-life balance is very important to me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And before we move on, obviously you was at the Women in Fenestration event, a few weeks ago in Bristol. Obviously, that exposed you to more women within the industry than probably have been in one room for a very long time. How did it feel to be part of that day?
That was a brilliant day for me. I think for just listening to the people in the room, listening to their challenges, how they've overcome them,
Yeah.
and seeing some of the younger women in the room as well, to be able
Nice.
to hear that and listen to that and get exposed to that at such a young age, I think will help them in their future career, because I think it took a little while for me to get exposed to like successful female leaders and really
Yeah.
see that it's possible to be a leader as a female. It took a little while for me to be exposed to that. So for them to be able to see that at a young age gives them sort of the if you can see it, you can be it sort of thing.
Yeah.
So for me, that was really important, that there was a real mix of people in the room.
Nice.
It was a really positive day, actually. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, massively so. And has there been, obviously, like you said, both said that it's quite a personable industry. It's all about the relationships and things like that. Is there been any moments that stand out, maybe that you're allowed to talk about? I'm sure there's a few that you're probably not allowed to do on a podcast, but where you've gone, I really love this industry. It's a good place to be. It's a great, great people within the sector. Is there any examples that you're allowed to speak about?
I think for me, certainly when we did the innovation tour in 2023, I mean, we put together quite a close knit team, of Kevin, Craig, Leon, Mark Enderby at the time, and myself. We had the lorry, which people still talk about. We went all the way around the country, and we got to send a door lock off into space, and that's with Mr. Mayor's office. But just like the camaraderie between the five of us on that, and the driver who's German, on that month-long road trip. It was just, you sit back and you think, this is why I got into this industry for things like this, standing at Hampden Park with a lorry behind the goal with the Scottish customers arguing over which side we were in, whether we were in the east side or the west side, which was irrelevant to us, But we all of that, is just something you just sit there and you think, this is what I got into the industry for this, for the relationships, for the characters, for the people you meet on on that journey. So
nice. And Claire, obviously you was before all of that, but has there anything in the 2 years that you've been here think, this is, obviously you just mentioned about Women in Fenestration, but is there anything else that say I love this industry, it's a great place to be?
I mean, visiting the customers, going out there and speaking to them, meeting them, exposed me to how welcoming and lovely they are. And then inviting them again to MACO UK a couple of weeks ago for our 40th, and sort of the effort that they put in to come to that event. There was customers that travelled from all over the UK and even Ireland to come to that event. It was really nice for them to do that. They obviously didn't have to, but they did, and it just goes to show that the strength of the relationships that we have across this industry, really. And it was a really positive day, and I just hope that we can replicate that again with more events with our customers as well, because obviously there were people that couldn't come, couldn't make it for whatever reason. So
nice. And moving on to speak about the industry as a whole, I mean, in the 20 plus years that you've been in the industry, Steve, it's probably changed a lot. But even in the 2 years that you've been in, Claire, it's changing quite rapidly. What are sort of some of the biggest changes you've you've seen that has actually directly affected MACO? Obviously, we can speak about wars and COVID and things like that, but from an industry perspective, has there been any sort of big changes you've seen throughout your careers?
I think I'll leave Steve to answer this one.
I think for me, I mean, MACO, but also the industry as a whole is the professionalism. I think the industry's come up levels of professionalism, certainly in the 25 years I've been in it, from writing orders onto the back of a fag packet to digitalized ordering and easy access ordering, from the installer straight through, from the homeowner to the installer to the fabricator, and then it comes through to us. So I think that bit of the industry is always looks to get better. It always looks to innovate. It never stops. Whether it's from sustainability to to recycle composite materials to more green credentials with profile. I think the industry's really taken hold of that and tried to push itself forward, because I hate to use the analogy, and I know it gets used at the Glazing Summit, but there was still that white gold stigma to the marketplace, certainly when I got into it. And to just touch on what Claire said earlier as well, the significant change in the growing number of women in senior and influential positions, within our industry. At the time, it used to be a very male orientated, dominated marketplace, but I think the diversity now and the more women we're getting in influential roles is seeing the industry also progress, which I think is good. I think it always needs driving forward, because this industry's been around for a long time, and hopefully it's around for a lot longer.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed, hopefully. But
I agree with you there. I'd say the perception of the industry from the outside is probably what's changing the most.
And that's important. That's what we want. We spoke about it time and time again on this podcast about getting more people into the industry, and it's kind of the reason for this podcast is to showcase people like yourselves that are in the industry, and like that. Hopefully, there's people listening out that want to get into it but don't really know what it's about. And it's massively important to obviously have like women in fenestration like yourselves, Claire, but also people that have lived and breathed the industry for 25 years like yourself, Steve. I say it quite often that there's got to be a reason why we stay in the industry so long. Why are people staying in it 25 years, 30, 40, even longer sometimes? There's got to be reasons why we do it, and hopefully that encourages more people to come into the industry, completely from different places. So what would you think have been sort of the biggest developments within MACO? Obviously there's a lot of products that you do and deal with, being on the hardware side of things, but is there anything that really stands out as maybe fans' favorite with yourselves?
I mean, products wise, I think we make very good products. I think we've always been innovative. I know that's a word which is thrown around. I think in the marketplace quite a lot, but doesn't actually live up to the billing. At MACO we launched arguably the prototype chute bolt, which everybody else's chute bolts copied off. We launched the MACO rail kind of in at the same time, or maybe just before the roto equivalent. We've got a very good tilt and turn system. I think when the people put their heads together and they tackle issues within the marketplace, I think MACO tend to come out on top. We've got good relationship with the profile houses. People like Craig, who's been part of this. And it was funny, I was only talking to somebody about it on Monday, and I said it's a little bit like an arms race. So every time profile tweaks and something changes in regulations or specifications, it's the hardware that's got to catch up. And we've got good people around us who facilitate that catch up and work through it, not only in the UK but in group. So I suppose if that answered the question, that's kind of where I think MACO's strengths are and been the best impact.
Nice. And speaking of strengths, as we've mentioned a couple of times already, that you celebrated your 40th anniversary as a company a few weeks ago. Obviously, Claire, you was probably one of the most people that had the most to deal with doing the 40th anniversary celebrations. But how does it feel as two people within the business that a company is celebrating 40 years in the business?
Yeah, it was pretty special, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For me, it was about celebrating the people that make it happen, acknowledging all those years of innovation and dedication that those people are still contributing to today, whether that's our partners or our staff.
Yeah.
So the day was about celebrating with our partners and our staff, and I think everyone had a great time. It's a proud moment to have been able to witness and help celebrate.
Nice. And Steve, from your point of view, obviously you've done a lot of years, 15 years within that 40. So yeah, how did it feel for you to be celebrating the big 40?
Well, first of all, I mean, I think it was a tremendous achievement. The marketplace is not easy. I don't think it's ever been easy for many years, really. And it's just testament to the company, but also to our customers who have come along with that journey on us. A lot of our customers are around the 40 years, themselves, or or the 30 years plus, or coming up to different milestones and themselves, and they've wanted to partner MACO, and we've wanted to obviously work with them as well. And it means a lot. I mean, each celebration that goes through, whether it's 80 years a group or being in building X amount of years, we try and celebrate it whenever we can, because these are big achievements, and it's not like the individuals, it's more to the people who's with you on the journey and supported you on the journey as well. So I think it's a tremendous achievement, and something I think we're all really proud of at MACO.
And people that follow you on social media will see that some of you, and it'll be in one of the next editions of the newsletter, of how many people are celebrating big milestones within MACO. Is obviously you mentioned Kev, who's been there 40 odd years, but there's a lot of years experience within the UK part of MACO. Like, how does it feel to for that many people, for not a lot of people, to celebrate such big milestones within the business? It's got to be quite good to have that many years experience under one roof.
Yeah, I think well, Kev's been at the business for 18, 19 years. I think it feels like 40. I think the more he spends time with me, I think the more it feels like 40. Craig's been at MACO 35 plus years. There's people in the business who live and breathe it, and again, it sounds cliche and it sounds quite far-fetched, but MACO is, being a family-run business, they still have that family ethos which runs through. Mr. Mayor still sits on the board. His daughters also now head up the management team. They come across to the UK. For our 40th celebrations, we will be having different members of group coming over. Where we'll go out seeing customers. We'll show them the business that we do, and they're all very approachable. They all have that family vibe about them. They all they promote the loyalty and it's cliche, but it is a family-run business, and the 40 years are a testament to that, really. So I think it's you are proud to be part of such a business. I think, to wear the MACO badge and be it and see it, and go across to Austria and see them there, and like the relationships with the other guys in Italy and Holland and Netherlands and places like that. So it is really good.
Nice. And you've alluded to a few things there, but Claire, maybe this is one for you. What else have you got planned for the 40th anniversary year? Is there anything in the pipeline that you're able to talk about at the moment?
I suppose so. I mean, obviously the day was an incredible day, and the feedback that we got from the guests and the staff was really good. And it was really nice to have so many customers and partners there. But there were a lot of people, like I mentioned, that couldn't make it. So we sort of already planned, and we're already pre-speaking to some people who couldn't make it about doing some partner events so we can carry on the celebrations, because obviously this year is our 40th year. It goes on for a whole year. So so why not carry on the celebrations a little bit longer and take that to some of our partners and create some events and invite some people to to some probably a little bit smaller events, but nonetheless still important to help celebrate and carry on the celebrations for a bit longer. So yeah, we're definitely some things in the planning.
Hopefully we can keep everyone that's maybe listening up to date of when those dates are set in stone, and you know where you're going and when to let everyone know to potentially come and see you again, maybe if they were there for the 40th, or come and see you if
absolutely, yeah. I mean, this industry loves a party, so
they do. As we can definitely allude to that. It's definitely they do like to party and like to network, which is great for us. But moving back on to speaking about yourselves and the business in general, what does the future look like, I guess, looking past the 40th anniversary? What do the next couple of years look like for both of yourselves? Is it just carrying on, cracking on like you have been for the years that you've been in at MACO, or is there what else is there in the pipeline for you and the company?
I think for us, the next 1 or 2 years, we'll probably see some more exciting developments. I know there's things in the pipeline and on the horizon which probably can't go too deep into.
Course,
but I think as the industry continues to evolve, I think MACO's always looked to evolve with it as well. Through either innovations or just being a safe pair of hands, really. And I'm confident that we'll continue to do that in the next 1 to 2 years. But certainly, we don't stop there as well. We have like 3 to 5 year plan, and I know Group are very keen on expansion as well. Not only in the UK but globally. So we're it's always exciting times at MACO. Nothing ever sits still. We're always doing something. So that's what I know is going to happen in the next few years. I'm just excited to be part of it.
Yeah,
nice.
I think also we'll probably see quite a lot of growth with the integration of smart technology as well. So we've got obviously a Sense by MACO, and I'm actually quite excited to see where that takes us over the next couple of years as we see that sort of side of the market grow. It's obviously a big thing for a lot of people. The industry, that sector is really taking off, and we're obviously at the forefront of the technology with the Matter protocol with our products. So as we have been for many years, always been sort of the leaders of the pack when it comes to innovation. Nice. I think we was one of the first ones to do an augmented reality app a few years ago.
Right,
you could take apart the door lock and see it and nobody else was doing anything of that sort at that time. We've sort of always seemed to have been at the forefront of everything, and hopefully.
Do you think that's a sort of something you aim to be? Is to be at that forefront of maybe trying new things? Maybe because you're family owned, you can make those decisions quite quickly rather than. But do you position yourself there to look at these new things before they become the norm, or do you it just so happens that that you see these things and I want to try them and it takes off from there?
I certainly don't class us as a disruptor in the marketplace, but I do think, and Claire's right, I think it was the second Fit Show, we launched a fully augmented reality app, which showed our door lock at the time. I think it was 2014, 2015. We had all iPads on our stand. We had the door of the future, which we called it then, which we really launched at Fence to Bar, where there was like crowds of 10 people deep. It had facial recognition, and every time the door opened, the whole crowd kind of moved in unison. We had that on the Fit Show. Nice. We had M-tronic sensors on windows long before smart technology was a thing. It's something that MACO's always kind of had, and we got shot down for it. I remember that at Fit. It was on the feedback, we were told that our stand looked more like an Apple store than a window store, than a window stand. And then roll on 4 years later, I think at Fit Show, when they'd moved from Telford to Birmingham, everybody's standard smart tech on it, and we were like, So I think we're always looking at what we can do next. And you're right, being a family run business, we do a lot of things in house. Everything's done in Salzburg. Salzburg is our main hub. Yes, we have places in Germany, and we have Poland, and we have them in Italy, you know, we have Benelux, and we have them in the UK. But the hub is Salzburg, you know, and that's where the family sit, and that's where a lot of the innovations come about. So I wouldn't I wouldn't say we're disruptors, but we certainly like to innovate and we like to move forward.
Nice. And going back to speaking about yourselves, have you got a bit of advice that you'd give your younger self? Is there anything you'd say, or don't do that, or do that? You know, is there anything that you think, oh, actually, it'd been nice to have known that a few years ago or at the start of your careers? What, is there any advice that you'd give your younger self?
Do you want to go first on this, Claire, or do you want me?
Okay, I'll go with trust the process.
Nice.
Not everything will go to plan, but you will always be where you're meant to be at the right time.
No. And Steve?
I think for me, I know it's a cliche, but I think, you know, every decision I've made has kind of got me to where I am now. But if I could bump into myself, I'd probably tell myself to appreciate my hair a little bit more. I'd say, you know, never stop working hard. Just stay curious, enjoy the little things, and don't get stressed about things. Don't take things too personally. I mean, I think there's been stages in my working career where I have took things personally. And, you know, I think as the older I've got, I think the better I've got at that. But yeah, when I was younger, probably don't stress as much and just enjoy the things along the way. I think that's the main advice I'd give myself.
Nice. And to end the main part of the podcast, does with the years that you've had in the industry and at MACO, does it make you optimistic about the company going forward, that you're on the right paths, but you know, also for the wider glazing sector in general? Obviously you've spoken to a lot of customers daily and at the anniversaries, but does it make you optimistic that that we're obviously times are tough, but there is sort of light at the end of the tunnel for the industry in itself?
Yeah, I mean, I do, and you know, I think the UK sector, the UK market and the global market really, I think is right, as we touched on earlier. I mean, there's lots of things going on in the world. I think lots of things we can and can't control. But I keep coming back to the people. You know, it was one of the first things I remembered when I joined the industry, and I joined now. There's a lot of passionate people in our industry, and there's a lot of resilient people as well. They focus on strong relationships. They focus on strong partnerships. They're now looking to pass their businesses on as well to the next generation. You know, there's multiple businesses now whose family owned, and their other members now are coming through, and they still have the same passion and they still have the same drive. And I think that's the bit which for me, I'm quite positive about. You know, for the marketplace going forward is. It is tough, and I think we've all known it's tough. I think it's been tough for a long, long time, you know, probably even post-COVID, pre-COVID. But I just think the people will endure, and I think going forward, I think in the UK and globally, we've got some really good people in the industry. We've got some really good people at MACO, some really good people in there making decisions, and I am positive. I am positive for the industry, positive going forward.
Nice.
I was going to say, the tough times are what make you stronger, aren't they? Isn't that what they say? So can only improve things.
We've had a few tough times, a few tough years. So I think you're starting to see the companies that like yourselves that are willing to work at it and work hard to get themselves into a good position. So it's it's an interesting few years. Obviously, building regulations and things like that coming in, but there's a lot of good people within our industry that I think will push us over, get us out of this tough times and in hopefully into better ones.
Yeah.
Well, that's the main part of the podcast done. So you can now rest easy. So that we're going to do our this or that round now. So if you've seen previous episodes, it's just I'll ask you a question, and it's just either this or that, and the first thing that comes to your head. So we'll play with both of you, so you both can answer it. It might be different, might be the same. So the first thing is, do you prefer being in the office or out on the road?
I'm going to go out on the road.
No.
I really enjoy and learn from meeting our customers. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit with Claire. I love seeing customers. I love being in front of customers, but I probably don't do it enough.
Oh, okay.
I think that's yeah.
Yeah, nice. Are you a routine person or a bit of variety in your life?
Very much routine, but I can break dance when I need to. If that makes sense.
No, that's something I want to see.
I like to be prepped, but
I need to see that.
Yeah, but if it's all going left, we can adapt and we can deal with it.
Oh, I'm all about the variety. Obviously, routine is good for the everyday, but yeah, the variety is what I'm about, definitely.
Nice. This is quite nice from what you just said, Steve. So, do you prefer, if you had to pick one, would you prefer to be always on time or always prepared?
Always prepared. Always prepared, and always being prepared means always being on time. So
exactly.
I think
Can't really have one without the other, can you?
No, I do try and be as prepared for everything. And I know you can't be prepared for everything, but
of course,
I think certainly in my role and like I said, in the industry that we're in, the people who we get to meet, I think they want you to be prepared as well. So yeah, I like to be prepared for whatever meeting I'm going to get dragged into.
Yeah.
But if I'm not, then we deal with it when there and then. So
no. Claire, would you echo that? Always prepared?
Yeah, always prepared. Yeah, I mean, I was a scout for a short period of time, so be prepared is one of their mottos, isn't it?
Yeah, you just have to be. Yeah. Would you say you're a glass half full person or glass half empty?
Full. Oh, easy for me.
half empty. I always go worst case scenario. I'm cynical. I always look at what's going to happen. What's the worst thing that's going to happen, and then build from there. Yeah. That's kind of what I do. Probably glass half empty.
Yeah, I'm annoyingly optimistic about everything.
A nice mix there. I like it. Speaking about yourself, do you prefer to cook at home or eat out?
I can't cook. I'm as I said earlier, I'm very lucky. My wife's a very good cook. So if it's up to me, if she's ever away with her sisters or anything like that, then we're getting food in. Either that or pot noodle and naan bread. That's as far as I go. But yeah, probably eat out if it was up to me.
Claire?
Yeah, I really like cooking. I just don't have enough time for it. But I do like eating out, especially a tap house or something like that. I can't cook that as well as the Spanish can cook it. So, but I do really enjoy cooking, mixing things up and making new dishes. Yeah.
Nice. If you had to pick one, would you pick live sport or a live music event to go to?
Oh, sport.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I like both.
Sport, in particular rugby league, I'd say, which is much to Claire's annoyance. Being northern rugby league, Wigan every day of the week.
I actually wouldn't be able to choose between them. I really don't know. Yeah, I love a bit of both.
Yeah, me too.
You can't beat the atmosphere at an event, really.
Yeah, different kinds of atmospheres as well, isn't it? But both good. Would you say you're calm under pressure or thrive on pressure?
Calm. I think.
Oh, I don't know.
Steve can tell me otherwise.
That's too much. That's too much pressure for that. For me, I don't mind pressure. I think it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I thrive under it, but I don't ignore it. I think a lot of people can ignore pressure, and I think that's when it builds over and over and over. I think, again, as I touched on one of the questions earlier, just got to sometimes enjoy the little things, and I think once you can, I can't pronounce the word, decompartmentalize what's going on, then I think you're fine, and you can deal with the pressure in different ways.
No. Perfect. Well, for the last part of the podcast, we let guests give a shout out. It can be friends, family, people in the industry, out the industry, yeah, whoever you want to. So whoever wants to go first, who are your shout out or shout outs for?
I'll let Claire go first.
I had to think about this one because I know you sent me the questions beforehand and I wasn't quite sure what to say. But the first thing that popped into my head was actually Kevin and Leslie and my predecessor Mark for giving me the opportunity to work at MACO. Really,
Nice.
That's what I would like to say thank you for.
Perfect. And Steve, you got any shout outs?
Yeah, I think for me, like I said, is the theme which went through the majority of the questions is just a big thank you to all our customers. You know, really the ones who have stood by us, the ones who haven't stood by us as well over the years. But no, we don't fall out with people. We just move forward. And I think I'd like to say, a great thank you to everybody who buys MACO, who's worked with MACO, who's helped us become the business that we have. We've been here for 40 years. The group's been here for 80 plus. We're going to continue moving forward. So thank you very much for everything everyone's done for MACO and the business, really.
Perfect. Well, a nice way to end, I think. So yeah, thanks to both of you for joining us on Two Pigs in the Pod today. It's great to hear about obviously your careers and everything about MACO. Actually, so yeah, you can rest easy now that the podcast is done. So big thanks to you for coming on. And thanks for everyone for listening. You can find this episode and all our previous ones on our website, www.peopleinglazing.co.uk, on our YouTube channel at People in Glazing Society, and also available to download on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. And whilst you're there, please don't forget to like and subscribe to make sure you never miss an episode. So once again, thanks to Claire and Steve for joining us, and see you for another episode soon.